इंश्योरेंस खरीदना उतना ही महंगा है जितना एक कॉफी खरीदना. I lose most of my battles. Conversations brought solutions, and I think it's important to have such people who knows more than you. Solutions became products, and finally sales happen. You know, you have to take it from the ground. If you're up there and you want one, you will not get it.
Wow. Welcome to Bharosa Talks, a platform where we bring to you real stories of people just like you and me. Unfiltered, honest conversations that reflect life's big moments, how they shape us, and how they change the way we think about our financial planning. Today, we are joined by someone who represents the strength, ambition, and balance of working women across our organization. Tanya Madan, CVP and Head Retirement. Her journey is inspiring and rooted in everyday realities so many women navigate. Welcome, Tanya. We're so glad that you're here with us today.
Thank you so much, Pooja. I'm thoroughly excited to be part of this podcast.
Great to know that. And you're like frequenting on podcasts now, so I know this is going to be a breeze for you because you've like been so used to doing these over the last few months. So before we dive in, Tanya, I just wanted to start off with something fun. So ऐसा कौन सा चीज़ होगा आपके बारे में that your colleagues don't know about?
So at work, I am seemingly a very tough negotiator with corporates, with stakeholders, with partners. But I think at home, I lose most of my battles with my 16-year-old teenager. And I think that's quite a humbling experience.
Nice. Yeah, kids and especially teens can be extremely challenging. I think, we had a previous guest who also talked about, dealing with a teenage kid. In the last 1 week, what's a small win from this week that made you feel proud or accomplished?
So this week, I chose to pause in a difficult situation rather than react. And it was a reminder for me that not always, in life, you have to fight back. Yeah. Sometimes doing less is enough. And I think that was, personally, that was a great win for me.
So, Tanya, you're a woman leader that I have been hearing of since I joined Max Life, okay? And I came from a hardcore FMCG sales background. I was with Pidilite, and sales for me was the biggest learning experience I've had, but was also very tough on me, mentally, physically, because of, the extensive travel. And you've built your entire career in sales. You've like aced it. You're an example that is given to us, whoever is joining in new and, is of the same gender. So how was it for you? How has been the journey for you?
I think sales keeps you on your toes. It keeps you humble because the reality hits you very hard. I think distribution is one function where you get to know very quickly what's going well, what's not going well, because it is tested, out in the external environment. I will not say challenge, but I say that they were exciting times. We were trying to work on a category which never existed earlier.
Yeah.
So, but today when we look back in history, you feel extremely proud of what you've built. So I think at the end, what matters is that were you able to create that impact, and influence people to do the right things which are good for their future, in a conversational manner.
Yeah, and I mean, insurance is the most difficult, I think, industry to be in when it comes to sales, especially, right? It's a difficult product to sell. So, what made you get into this, and what was it? Was there like a defining moment where you said, "Ki, theek hai, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm built for"?
There was no such one defining moment. I think, as I said, when we started out, we were very young. At a 24-year of age, when you meet a 50-year-old person, the dynamics are very different. So, initially, the acceptability to listen from a younger person in age was a challenge. But I think we built bridges very quickly, and people were very receptive to the idea of what we were bringing to them. So, as I said, conversations brought solutions. Solutions became products, and finally, sales happened.
Nice. And because you've been in this world, so financial planning, finances must have already been on top of your mind. So, but was there a point where probably from college when you transitioned to the job, was there any such moment that made you feel responsible enough and made you feel like okay, अब मुझे ना मेरे finances sort करने हैं या मुझे अभी से planning शुरू करनी है? Was there anything like that?
When you start making money, you start to manage money.
Oh.
But honestly, I started with my financial planning in my mid-30s.
Oh.
Which was almost 1 decade, away when we started to work.
Yeah.
The realization of, having a child at home and to make sure that he is well taken care of, his financial future is intact. I think that brought a lot of responsibility in. And as work kind of kept going, responsibilities, rose. Similarly, work at home also kind of kept growing. So I think the sense of being intentional about spending, saving, and talking to people who probably knew more than me, it really helped me to kind of pave that path towards financial security and independence.
And honestly, I mean, I meet people and they tell me कि अच्छा आप तो इसी इंडस्ट्री में आपको तो पता होगा तो आपने तो अपनी फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग कब शुरू कर दी होगी. So to hear from you that you started working at 24, 25 and to start planning at 35, if I may just ask, what is it that stopped you from planning it ahead? Because you already knew about this, right? You were selling to people that अच्छा financial planning important है, insurance important है. So what is it that stopped you, or did you just maybe not think about it at all?
I will not say that I did not start at all. I made small steps, but to really understand financial planning, that took me some time. I bought my first insurance policy in my first organization very quickly, and I still hold that product with me. So, but yeah, the disciplined way of going about financial planning, that started to hit me only in my mid-30s. When I started really talking to people, as I said, who were pro. And I think it's important to have around you such people who knows more than you. And you be humble about it and at least start somewhere.
Okay. No, that makes sense, yeah. And because you mentioned that you started financial planning in your head more proactively when you had a kid. So do you think perceptions around women in financial decision making are changing now versus say a few years ago when you yourself went through that motherhood journey and that was the pivot that you did, right? And you were already working by then. So do you think the perceptions have changed over these last few years, whether it's people you're interacting with or your own personal network that you would have seen?
Absolutely. I think there is a very clear shift now what it is versus what it was a decade back. I think today women are taking financial decisions like pros, and I think the numbers themselves are pretty stark. If you pick up the mutual fund numbers today and how many women are participating, in SIPs, etc., that number is as large as 20%. And I think in my assessment, women are, once they find purpose, I think they go all out. And they are long-term investors, I've realized. At the same time, I think more financial awareness has got women to start thinking about themselves. The conversations which earlier used to happen in a smaller room, now it is happening with experts from the banks, and we see a lot of them coming and meeting women. So I think decisions have become slightly easy because information is available. People are available to talk about it. And once you kind of decide that this is my money and I should not give it to somebody to manage versus it will impact me, I think the decisions automatically start to happen. So I think, yeah, this has played a pivotal role in how women are looking at finances today.
And do you think the stigma is also sort of reduced? Pehle, I remember, people, and I've heard stories about this. Of course, I am from a Bengali family, so we're a matriarch. But when advisors would come into a household and look for, say, your father or your husband or your brother to talk about finances, do you think that stigma has changed? I mean, I know it has changed for people living in probably metros, but at large, do you think that's changed?
You will be surprised to know that today when people go to people's houses to sell, they will call, the woman in the house to be in that meeting. They will try and explain the solution not to the person but as a family, how will it impact. So definitely there is a big shift, and some of the large decisions I've seen that women are the ones who are asking or nudging their spouses to take much in advance, because they care about, as I said, long-term financial discipline and savings and care. So big shift here, big shift.
Okay. That's great to know. I mean, obviously in metros it's quite visible, even in the numbers that we've been seeing in India Protection Quotient. Right, working women in metros have started, at least in terms of their awareness, started progressing. Right, at ownership, I think we're still lagging behind, but at least on awareness, we've been seeing an upward trend. So that's very comforting, I think, to all of us, that we are taking more and more role in making sure that we're planning our finances ourselves and our future ourselves. So we've even seen in India Protection Quotient, it's a flagship survey that Max Life has been running for, Access Max Life has been running for the last 8 years, and we've seen that while working women, especially in urban metro tier 1, tier 2, the awareness levels have been increasing over the past few years, but I think somewhere we're still not at par, so to say, as the other gender, right? And even while awareness is high or on the upward trend, ownership levels are still relatively low. So in your experience, what do you think is stopping women to actually, take charge of their finances?
So being a fellow woman colleague, I think women do need a lot more clarity, till the end. And sometimes that pushes the decisions or delays the decision. My only submission to, all the women, who are listening to this podcast is, we might not have all information, but and protection is not a very complex subject. So I think do fact checks for sure, but take the decision slightly quickly, because especially in protection, as the age goes up, your premiums goes up, and sometimes your lifestyle disorders, do harm us to kind of take protection, even if we require it or if we want it. So don't think so much, just go after it, and it is simple.
Yeah. Do you have a term insurance?
Yes, my first product which I bought was thankfully that, because when I entered my 30s, I became a diabetic, and that made it challenging for me to go and buy the kind of cover I wanted to. So thankfully I have one, and Access Max Life is a great organization in terms of employee benefits, and I feel very secure to know that we have provided health cover and life cover to all our employees. So some level of protection exists.
And if someone were to plan their journey of buying a term insurance, what were the 2 or 3 things that you considered when you were trying to decide कि अच्छा मुझे कैसा term cover चाहिए, कितना sum assured चाहिए, कितना cover चाहिए, typical questions that people ask. So how did you assess when you were buying it? Or how would you guide people to assess now?
Sure.
With your experience that you have?
See, now there are many methods to arrive at what coverages you require, but I kept it very simple. At that time, I did not have any liabilities, so to say, when I started out. So I decided that how much money I would put in the bank, which gives me a fixed income, which will continue even if I'm not there. For example, if I earn 50,000 rupees a month, how much of money I kept in the bank, which gives me a fixed FD return, to substitute that 50,000 rupees. That's the cover. It's the most simple way to kind of come to that. And there are many scientific ways now to arrive at life insurance coverages. But this is how I went about it.
Okay. And in the last 2 decades, you mentioned obviously motherhood was one turning point in your life where you decided that okay, I have to leave something behind, so I need to start my financial planning. In this journey, has there ever been a moment where you unexpectedly think about kuch ho gaya to, right? What is it that I do my exigency planning as? So, any thoughts on that?
So actually, when I was mentioning that I had started out my financial discipline in mid-30s, it had a big role of my diabetes coming into play, and my son was only 2 that time. So to realize that anything can happen to anybody in life, I think that was one moment when you start to really put your mind behind how do I make sure that people around me are secure financially. So I think it was just is in that moment when you think about your child and his well-being, I think, and for that your own well-being is important. It is not only just health but finances. It plays a big role. So I think that really played out, and I'm thankful that I am still on that journey, and I feel extremely content and secure to think that I've made a decent corpus which I will leave behind, and people around me should not be impacted.
No, that makes sense. I think especially parents always keep thinking ना कि मैं इतना करूँ कि मेरे बच्चे को उतनी problems ना हो जो मुझे हुई. Yeah, I give them a better life than what I have had. So that's a beautiful thought. And actually, most of I know that field में this is the story that gets a thumping yes every time from customers. That okay, my child, his financial well-being, his overall well-being is the most, his or her overall well-being is the most important. Now, there is, while we've touched upon it that, the awareness of women has been changing over the years. When you mentioned that when, people are going to households, the women are coming on board and discussing and wanting to know more. What are the typical questions on the top of your hat, right? What are the typical questions that you've heard people, especially women, ask? What are the queries like?
When they are buying for themselves?
For themselves, making decision for the family, like you mentioned, right? It's a family decision these days. So what is it? What are the concerns that people typically have, or the anxieties that people typically have, women typically have when looking at either term insurance or financial planning in general?
No, as I said that, I think women seek for more clarity. And in my understanding, they would always have few comparisons to make. So they will ask the salesperson to compare the product specifications with one of the top players in the market. They ask for horizons because they want to keep that money aside going every year. And I think a good salesperson, if he is able to answer these two or three big questions in terms of product specifications, in terms of market comparative, in terms of horizons and the give and get, I think we tend to buy it quickly.
But in that, I mean, I'm keen to know what are the barriers that you've typically faced when having these you or your team is typically faced when having these conversations. In convincing a woman that okay, नहीं आपके लिए अच्छा है, ये आपको लेना चाहिए. What are the typical kind of barriers you've realized?
I think sometimes confidence. And they would sometimes ask that they will go to a friend, go to the spouse to check if they are buying the right things, and that comes in the form of delays in decision making. They might still buy it, but maybe they will slightly take more time. Financial confidence, that's about it. I think rest, I don't think that it's not about confusion, it is about confidence. I don't see any other barrier, so to say.
Okay. Yeah. And so you mentioned you have a teenage child, right?
16-year-old.
16-year-old child. So if you were to explain term insurance to your 16-year-old, how would you explain it? In the most simplest of manners.
Oh, I never thought about it. I will just tell him that whether mama is there or not there, you will continue to go to the best school. You will get the best education possible, and you have a very comfortable life. And that provision your mama has done for you.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
You know, so
Nice. So now we move to another segment called the Bharosa moment. Okay, and here I wanted to understand: is there any recent moment where you truly felt secure or confident because you prepared ahead for your kid, for the rest of your family?
See, financial preparedness gives you a lot of comfort and calmness, and decisions on sometimes spending, which you otherwise cannot do. Those decisions comes easy to you, and that builds confidence. So I think sometimes decisions became easy because you prepared. You have kept some money separately for things which you never thought about. I think that gives me a lot of comfort. You know that you can afford certain things for yourself and your family without thinking a lot. And yeah, that's very comforting.
We explained life insurance or term insurance to a 16-year-old, right? So now if you were to explain it to, say, me, and I am, मतलब मैं ना इतना टेक्निकल चीज़ें नहीं समझती, मुझे चीज़ें सिंपल अच्छी लगती है, मेरे को ऐसा लगता है लाइफ इंश्योरेंस बहुत एक्सपेंसिव है और बहुत बेसिकली देयर इज लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ हेडेक अगर लाइफ इंश्योरेंस लेना है, तो यू व्हाट वुड यू से टू समवन लाइक मी?
So पहले तो तुमने expensive बोला, तो let me answer that question. How many coffees do you have in a day?
1 or 2 maximum on a bad day.
So you will be surprised to know कि insurance खरीदना उतना ही महंगा है जितना एक कॉफी खरीदना है. It's actually become very very affordable.
Okay.
Especially after the GST changes, even more affordable. तो बिल्कुल महंगा नहीं है if that is the deterrent for you. And secondly, easy thing is start with a 50 lakh or a 1 crore cover. You know, at your age, I think it's very simple. It's not complicated. Is what I will tell you.
Okay.
1 coffee ka kharcha is what it is at net.
Okay. So next time when I get to go to take my coffee, I will definitely remember this. Yeah. Okay, so now we are almost towards the last segment, right? And this is an interesting myth buster segment because, like I said, life insurance लोगों को बहुत complicated लगता है, नहीं समझ आता. तो there are a lot of myths also that exist in the industry, and that's the first thing that I think our advisors also face, क्योंकि लोगों की खुद की assumptions होती है about a product that they don't understand, right? So it's a myth buster, it's a rapid fire. So okay. Whatever is your first thought. So could be a yes or no, a true false kind of a thing. Life insurance is only for men who are primary breadwinners.
Big false. I think life insurance is for all. That's the first line. Secondly, it's not only for primary breadwinners, but even housewives. There are products available in the market today who serve to a large community of housewives. So it is not only for the primary breadwinner. It's for all.
Okay. If I'm young and healthy, I don't need life insurance yet.
Again, false. When you are young and healthy, you should start then. Life insurance is like a parachute. You know, you have to take it from the ground. If you're up there and you want one, you will not get it.
Wow, that's a brilliant analogy. Life insurance premium is too expensive. You've addressed this multiple times, but yeah.
Yeah, so the only broad message is it is not expensive at all. It is as cheap as 1 cup of coffee or tea in the day. So please do invest for yourself and your loved ones.
Okay. Life insurance is only about death benefits. So a lot of people say कि यार मेरे को मेरी लाइफ में तो कुछ नहीं मिल रहा, उसके बाद का क्या ही करूँ मैं? So what about this? That it's only for death benefits.
So there are a variety of products which are available today. There are products which only cater to a death benefit at the end of the term. But there are many products which is a combination of investment, savings, and of course term cover. So it's again false. It is not only a death benefit.
Okay. women don't need life insurance if they don't have dependents.
See, ultimately, you live in an ecosystem, and there are people who are dependent on you in some form and shape. So I disagree with that statement.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, my parents, even though they don't need it, they're still, I think, somewhere dependent on me. So I would always plan it for them. Okay, so great. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the nuggets that you shared with us. And thank you for the honesty that you brought to this conversation. I think more and more women definitely need to start looking at managing their finances themselves, to proactively talk about it, talk in their circles, whether it's just a coffee catch up with their friends. I think financial planning needs to start coming up in everyday conversations for more and more women to protect themselves. So thank you so much.
You'll be surprised, we do. Thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed it as much as you did, and you've been a fantastic host.
Thank you, Tanya, for bringing in your honesty, intent, and clarity to this conversation. If there's one thing to take away, it's that bharosa is built in the everyday, in the systems we set up, in the support we ask for, and the choices we make when no one is watching. For our listeners, whether you're a working woman, a young parent, or simply planning ahead, remember, for you and your family's financial protection, smart term sahi hai. And bharosa begins with the choices we make today. See you in the next episode.